welcome back to the channel. Today, it's been a while, but we're back. We got moved and everything, so it'll be fun. We'll do a little walk around at some point, but for now, we're having some issues on the E36. Yesterday we were driving and the turbo went what I thought bad again, but we looked at our fitting here, and this is way too big. This is a 4 or 5 or 6 millimeter, somewhere in that range. I didn't grab a caliper, and that needs a 1.5 or a 1 millimeter. So we got that coming. Got a new one of these, so we can stop using that. The power steering rack, not only does it leak, but it shakes and clunks. It is mega fucked. So MaXpeedingRods was nice enough to send us a brand new rebuilt one. So we're gonna put that on the car. We're gonna see how that does. It already has inners and everything, so we're gonna see how this thing does. Hopefully it holds up to the abuse, because we are getting this car ready for Pumpkin Bash at Affinity Circuit in Medford, Oregon. And then to top it all off, the same wheel bearing that I thought I was good on, I tightened because the previous owner did some funky shit. That same wheel bearing is giving me problems, and it's gonna be this passenger rear. It's pretty fucking bad. It shakes and makes all sorts of crazy sounds. So yeah, we don't get the fitting till tomorrow, so I won't be able to drive it or test any of the turbo or oiling stuff, or I won't even get to run the car now. So it's pretty much doing the two things that I hate doing the most: power steering stuff, like steering rack stuff, and wheel bearings, the rear wheel bearings. So we're gonna start with the rear wheel bearings, and then we'll go to the power steering rack. And yeah, we're gonna hope that this thing isn't seized and that it comes out nice, because usually that is not the case. I think it's safe to say the wheel bearing is bad. What the fuck? Alright, so I was trying to move the axle and this guy fell out. So I think it's safe to say that this is fucked. It was literally sitting there like this and it just fell out. And this is supposed to be, this is an outer race to that bearing. So I think it's safe to say this was cooked. All right, little pro tip for y'all. Amazon has this amazing toolkit, Orion Master Motor Tech or whatever the fuck. But it's a bearing remover, adapter puller bullshit. And for when you get the kit, so you don't have to fuck around like I did, obviously it's pretty obvious I need this one. You need both of these. You need this piece. And I believe it's this one right here. It's the one I use the most. But I'll refresh your memory when I get it all set up on this wheel hub. Yep, so I was correct. Use this one mixed with this so it sits flush. And then you use the one that I had pulled out, which was 95511. So there you go. You do this. You put this guy through from the back. Boom. You can see someone already did some fucking damage in here. God damn. It's not that serious, little bro. I'm hoping that's not why the bearing is fucked. Feels smooth enough to hold a new one. Oh, that's so fast though. Whatever. It is what it is. All right, classic play by me. I've done this 3 times now when ordering these. I order a new hub and it never comes with the bearing. That's why it's so cheap. I'm so fucking stupid, but whatever. We needed this anyways. I got the new bearings from O'Reilly's. I got the precision ones and they were like 90 bucks each. Really fucking expensive. It was stupid, but we went ahead. We got these in the freezer for easier installation. Probably throw these in here for like, I don't know, an hour, maybe a little more, as long as you can. Excuse the mess, we're still moving, or we're still moving in, even though I'm working on my car first. But yeah, throw them in there for at least an hour, but if you could do more, that's always ideal. But we're gonna be doing both sides, so what you just saw on that side, imagine it's on this side. And we're gonna work a little bit of YouTube magic on this one, so I'm gonna snap my fingers, and this side's just gonna be taken apart. All right, slight interruption to the scheduled programming. We ended up putting this side back together. I took everything apart, and I was gonna pull everything apart, you know, get the wheel bearing out and whatever. But that shit is really in there. So, and it doesn't feel bad. It didn't feel bad before. It maybe had like the ever so slightest amount of wobble, maybe. So we're gonna leave that one just because time constraints and shit, because I got like 9 days left to work on this thing before it pretty much has to be, I at least need like 1 day of it not fucking blowing up or fucking me. So yeah, so that's not gonna happen. We got the other side though. So as you can see, we got the new one. How we do this, by the way, I didn't film it because I was in a rush because of other shit. But anyways, how I do this is I freeze the bearing, I set it in there. It goes in a little bit by hand, and then I set this here. I put one of these over it, and then a piece of wood right here. And then I use a piece of wood up against that, and then I just fucking hammer that shit together. It's gonna be loose until you put the axle nut on. That's just how this shit works. So yeah, we should be good there. I'm gonna put all this crap back together, and then we're gonna go to the front and do the steering rack. Hello from underneath my E36, not the usual spot that you see me. Today we're gonna be installing MaXpeedingRods rebuilt steering rack for my Drift E36. As you can see, she's very leaky. It has no boots, it leaks. There's an active drip on both sides. So we're gonna be swapping that. It's a very messy job, so got our trusty bucket here. And oh, and the steering rack, of course. She's over there. Look how beautiful. Quite nice, quite nice. Hopefully this holds up on the boosted M50 car so we can make it to Pumpkin Bash at Medford. We're also waiting on a different, or basically an oil restrictor. We didn't have one before. It was causing problems, so that's taken apart. But otherwise, we got the wheel bearing like you saw, and then now this, she should be fucking happy. So to start this, we're gonna take the, wow, it's really gross in here. We're gonna take the 22 and the 19 millimeter loose, and we're gonna let it drain into the bucket that I just showed you. And we're gonna let that go for a little bit, take the cap off the reservoir, and just let this drain, because otherwise it's gonna be, the more it drains, the less messy it is.
You don't have an impact, you make one. There you go.
Now we're gonna use pipe wrench on the inners. because I just replaced these. So these are brand new. All right, so I undid the inners because I'm just gonna do that separately once everything's out. Undid all of the lines there, and then I got lucky. I have the Part Shop Max steering coupler. So just a couple Allens that should slide apart and go back together real nice and easy, which is the biggest pain on this job is that piece. So if you have that, then it's not a pain. But all the bolts are loose, as you can see. We're gonna pull this sucker out. All right, we got the steering rack out. And just to show you the difference here between the old, very leaky, very, very damaged one to the new one that MaXpeedingRods sent me. One, I can spin this one by hand and doesn't sound or feel great. This one is, one, just in general, way cleaner. And it just feels nice and stiff, nice and tight. All the inners, outers, everything feels good. Even though I had fresh inners on that before, these still feel even better. So I'm excited for this. I'm gonna center the rack outside of the car, kind of like how it came. It came out a little crooked, but I'm gonna center it like this, just end to end, and yeah, go from there. And we're gonna put it back in the car. Good morning. It is day 2 of getting the car ready for the drift event. We're still on the power steering rack. My phone died last night and it was getting kind of late. I figured no point rushing this. But we just got to install the steering rack back into the car and then do a quick little alignment. We have some SLR toe plates that I am borrowing from my friend David Barba. Shout out to bro. Also this grill piece from my girlfriend's M3 bumper. Super sick, he gave that to me for free, and the battery cover. But yeah, we just got to put this shit back in. We got the Part Shop Max coupler on there and steering coupler, and yeah, it's pretty much all there is to it. I was looking at this actually, and some other people on Instagram as well helped me kind of notice this. Normally there's like some ridges and stuff, and see how the lines come out so far away from the rack right here? The only rack that does this, that is a BMW rack, especially for like 36s and stuff, is the Z3 rack. So I'm wondering if they rebuilt, this is a MaXpeedingRods steering rack. I'm wondering if they rebuilt a Z3 unit, and I don't know, I'm curious. It feels amazing, so if it's good, it's good. But I'm curious because the Z3 rack, I believe, is known to be a little bit easier to turn and also have a better ratio, question mark? I could totally be wrong because I personally never really cared. Like the purple tag, yellow tag, all that shit. Never really, I don't know. I feel like I never really noticed too much of a difference. I'm sure there is a big difference, but it just wasn't high on my priority list of my builds in recent years. So anyways, we're going to throw this back in and do a quick little bullshit alignment and hopefully have the turbo fitting within a few hours by the time I'm done with this. And then we can hopefully drive the car and pray that this turbo is not cooked or that I am not having other problems, because at this point, I don't really have time to fix many other problems. So anyways, let's get to it. a little bit more of a pain than I was expecting. It fit fine, everything was okay. The main issue I had a problem with was, so on the rack itself, there's these lines that come off. I'm guessing it was for a different model, or maybe the subframe maybe is a little tweaked or something. I'm not too sure. The car drives straight, but these lines were just hitting in weird spots, and so I just lightly bent them into the positions they needed to be. If you don't do any hard bends and if you don't focus on one spot, it won't kink it. That's the main thing you don't want to do. But no kinks or anything. Was able to move that line over, and then this back line was just hitting the back of the inside of the subframe. But we got it all good. We got the lines hooked up at the top there. I got to hook up the rack back again, and then just zip tie this up, because normally there is a bracket here to bolt a 10mm to, and I don't see that. It looks like they have the inside one though, so I will use that one, and then just zip tie this end over here. All right, we got the rack in, everything hooked up and tight. We're putting the wheels back on, and then we're going to use David's SLR plates like I said earlier, and we're gonna give it just a quick alignment, just something that I can drive on. The rear should be good enough for now, and I will take this to A&M in Portland, and they will do the final alignment. They do it on all of our cars, but until now this should work. Put the wheels on, lower the car down, put the suspension under load with the jack stands, and just try and get my best measurement with these guys, and obviously eyeball it as well. So yeah, we're gonna do that. And then we're really just waiting on this turbo fitting. I have 2 of them showing up today from Amazon. And once we button all this shit back up, I mean, in theory, the car should, well, it'll run, but it should stop blowing oil and having all these oil issues. I also figured out why it was leaking some of this oil. The timing chain tensioner on M50s apparently is just notorious for just endlessly leaking, even with new crush washer, new tensioner, all of that. The second I loosened that, it literally just started pissing oil out, because it's a hydraulic tensioner. It uses oil pressure. So not ideal, but we threw a little bit of RTV around that shit and then tightened it back down. We not fucking with it. So yeah, other than that, everything else seems pretty good. So throw up the time lapse and we'll get this bitch going. All right, the car is back together. It's on the ground. All of her pieces are there. She is aligned, as you saw, with the SLR toe plates. I pretty much eyeballed it almost perfectly. It's got just a little bit more toe out, so that's perfect. So yeah, we're gonna wait on this turbo fitting. It's supposed to be here today, so we can't even start it. We can't bleed the power steering, none of that. So until we can do that, this is all that will be in this one. But like, comment, subscribe, do the things that you guys like to do. Let me know what you guys want to see. And there's going to be a bunch of fun content coming up, especially with this bad boy. We are taking her to Medford. It is a 5-hour drive away. So that'll be super rad. So anyways, do the thing. Love you guys. I'll see you next time. No more oil smoke. Everything sounds better. Give us the win. All right, another good sign. Before, when I would turn the car off, pretty much the second that the engine stopped producing gases out the exhaust valves, the turbo would stop spinning. I just turned the car off right now in the garage, walked out to talk to Sydney, came back in, and it was still spinning very, very fast, even with nothing going through it. So that is a really good sign. I'm tweaking, as you heard in the last video. She sounds different. Like, it sounds different, it feels different. It's a whole new car, and it's making It was at making like 136 max kPa before, and I just hit 140. So that's like right above 5 pounds. Before it was struggling to do 4 sometimes. So